We are live. Welcome, everybody. We are going to have a great conversation because we had a great meeting this past Monday, great session this past Monday. Before we get started, my man, my partner, my mellow, Joe Barker. Joe, what's happening, brother?
Hey, good evening. How's everybody doing, man? Marty, appreciate your energy, appreciate your hustle, man. I know you have plenty of things going on just like the rest of us, man, but I really respect how you hold it down on Monday evenings with Maui, and then you come here and you bring brothers online to educate in a much more intimate space, you know, the topic for Monday to unpack a little bit. So appreciate being able to co-host with you, bro.
Man, you know I love having you with me, partner. So, Monday we talked about the film industry, and we talked about TV and film. We're going to delve deep into that with our guests tonight. But before we do that, we're going to do what we do every time we meet, which is make sure that we are acknowledging those that came before us, our ancestors, those that will be happy that we're doing this work, those that stand over us when we ain't looking, and make sure that we are okay. So what we do here on Lab Results is we do a simple libation, which is simply to shout out the name of somebody in our past, somebody that's an ancestor to us now, that is significant to us, that would be happy to see us in this space. So brothers, on the count of three, if you could just shout out a name, and I'll ask those that are watching to do the same. Shout out a name of an ancestor, somebody that would be proud of the work that you're doing. And then we will say their name and I shade thereafter. On the count of three, y'all. 1, 2, 3. Marion Monaghan.
4.
Early May Lowder.
I shade.
I say.
All right. So we always want to make sure that we are acknowledging those that came before us, because again, we know that this work that we do would not be happening if it wasn't for those that put the energy into us. So that's our first and foremost. Next up, without further ado, I want to bring on our guest, because I think that we're going to have a great conversation tonight, and he has a whole lot to offer. He's been in the Black Man Lab space a bunch of times, highly accomplished in the work that he's been doing, and he just brings great energy when he comes to the Black Man Lab. Wouldn't you agree with that, Joe?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Love having him on here.
Yeah, every time. And I know that our young people get a lot out of him as well. So without further ado, my brother, Jason Lowder. Jason, how are you, brother?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, brother. I appreciate, love y'all so much, man. You know, Black Man Lab, man. This is family. So I thank y'all for inviting me again to just share, man. I'm blessed. I can say that. I'm truly blessed, brother. Abundantly manifesting.
I appreciate that,
so,
brother.
Marty, I gotta say, man, like, this brother is so humble, right? So Monday we had gotten started, and you know, he's running a million different directions. So he got there a little late, and he knows good well he was supposed to be in the panel. But when I tell you how big a supporter he is of Black Man Lab, he was willing to just come in and take a seat and listen, man. He's like, no, I'm good. I was like, man, get up on the stage, man.
Right.
He was really just willing to come in and listen, man. This brother is so humble and worked so hard, man. Just much respect to you, bro.
I say, give thanks, King.
Absolutely. That's that, and that, you know, quite honestly, man, you know, before we get deep into the conversation, that energy and that level of humility is something that I think is really important for our young people to see, and to have a level of understanding that, hey, you can be successful at the work you do, whatever that work is you do, and still have a level of humility about yourself, because that's, ironically, that's how blessings find you, right? And I think that's something that you would agree with, Jason, in that level of humility, that level of reciprocity. It comes right back to you. So listen, man, let's get into it. We want to know, we want the purpose of Lab Results, you know, when we're in the lab on Monday, it's everybody talking about whatever the topic matter is. One of the things that we acknowledge, though, is that, you know, in that short little window of time that we have, we don't generally get deep into what got the people that are on our panel to the level of success that they are today. So that's what we do here at Lab Results. We want to know about the results, right? What got you to where you are today? So first and foremost, tell us about your life. Tell us about first of all, where'd you grow up at, Jason?
Yes, I'm a native, baby. I'm an AT-alien, full of pride and true. So College Park.
Brady, baby?
Well, actually, no, I didn't get. I missed Brady by maybe by a couple of years. I was Crawford Long.
Okay.
So yeah, Crawford Long, born in Crawford Long, man. And man, my mom and dad, they raised us in Pointer Ridge, a neighborhood called Pointer Ridge, off of Flat Shows, man. And that's where the upbringing, that's where it all began. I like to say that. That's that part of my backstory is Pointer Ridge. And of course, I ended up going to Riverwood High School up in Roswell, and my mom put us in the M2M program because she was just kind of like, hey, listen, I need you to go get it, go take care of business. And so I was in the International Baccalaureate program, International Studies program, yeah, man. So matriculated from Riverwood, and then went to Georgia Southern University, GSU graduate. They say the real GSU. So, so graduated from Georgia Southern in '99, man. And I was, I guess watching my mom and how my mom moved. She was a part of, just NAACP. She was the chair of the Presbyterian Women of Atlanta. She was a part of they helped set up a food pantry at our church. You know what I'm saying? She would go into the neighborhoods and feed the homeless. So I kind of grew up watching that. So, man, at Georgia Southern, I was the president of the Black Student Alliance for 3 years, vice president of NAACP while I was there. I ran for student government, became a student government member. So I was heavy into the activism. You just start watching her and my grandmom, you know what I'm saying? So that they planted the seeds, and I continue to carry them out, you know what I mean? And so after I graduated from Southern, man, it was like, okay, what am I gonna do? So, man, from there, end up teaching at Romar Academy, called Miss Quasha. Okay, my bad. It's a backstory.
You're not just gonna pass up your life at Georgia Southern like didn't nothing happen. We're not gonna do that, because here's the truth. Here's the truth, Jason. See, Marty and I, we get to cheat, right? Because we have you panelists on here, and we get to hear your backstories and dig into it. Now, I just 2 weeks ago dropped my son off as a sophomore in college at Georgia Southern. So, bro, you gotta tell me what I'm headed for, man. You gotta talk to me what that life was like at Georgia Southern.
Well, my freshman and sophomore year, I tell you, my second semester of my freshman year, I got put on academic probation because I was enjoying. I said I'm enjoying it too much. I said, man,
I knew it.
At least you waited till your sophomore year. Some of us.
Right. I knew it.
So Mom Duke said, listen, you can go down there and mess up, and you can pay for your school, or you can get it fixed, you can correct it, and we can help you. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna need that help. So the shift happened my sophomore year, man. The shift definitely happened, and that's when I started to, really get involved in what was going on in the community. You know what I mean? That's when it really kind of triggered. Yeah.
And I want our young listeners to hear that, man, because there's nothing wrong with enjoying your college life. Like Marty said,
right.
Hell, some of us were lucky to make it to sophomore year before that happened. But the reality is, Mom Dukes had that conversation with you. And not only did you turn that around, but you turned around many things. You were involved in NAACP and cabinet members on the university. So it's like you found another way to be engaged and still enjoy that college life.
Yes, that's so true, Joe, because, I still went out with my friends. We still hung out. I still did that. But I said, you know what? I knew when the cutoff time was.
Right.
I knew.
Right. Exactly. I love it, man. I love it. I
Yeah.
appreciate that context.
So let me jump in real quick, Jason. Now,
Yes,
do
sir.
you have siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of three.
Okay. Okay. And now your folks, are they still in Atlanta? What?
I'm sorry, my mom and dad, man, they live in Fayetteville. They moved to Fayetteville after I graduated.
Okay.
So they're still there, man. They just celebrated their 50th. Wow, their 50th wedding anniversary this year, man. Yeah, man.
My folks celebrate their 60th tomorrow.
Wow. Oh
crazy.
man.
Love it.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, man. So that's foundation. Yeah. Right?
Right.
Just better.
So now, you wound up, you get out of Georgia Southern, you went into teaching.
Yes.
So Romar
Correct.
Academy. I've heard of Romar.
Yeah, man. Romar, it was off of Main Street in East Point.
Yeah.
Yes. The Henson family, Miss Henson, and her husband, they kind of started the school, and Miss Quash, she was there when she was the principal when I was there. She took me in, and they just took me. I was 21 years old, man. They took a 21-year-old, just fresh out of college. They took me under the wings, man, and just taught me the importance of community and education. Like, I really got it once I started teaching there. It hit me like, oh wow, it's so necessary to start our children young and teaching them who they are. I was like, man, this is where it's at. So learning who Marcus Garvey was, teaching them at a young age, learning the Kuji Chop, the principles of Kwanzaa and Nguzo Saba, like that was so crucial in shaping. Like now I see them now, and I'm like, wow. That foundation was everything, man. It was everything. Yeah.
So now where else? So you taught there and
taught Romar, and then once I left Romar and ended up going to Imhotep Academy, which was even more pro-black. So it's kind of like, whoa, it's more.
Yes, brother.
That's awesome.
Literally, man. The name says everything about that school. Let me tell you, I've recruited a couple of students there that went to other high schools that I'm familiar with, and strong academic and culturally aware students there.
Yes, man. Imhotep, man. It was once again an awakening. It was another awakening in my educational, in my teaching journey. It was another awakening, and I'm to this day, I am indebted to them. I'm indebted to Imhotep. So that's my life, man. Romar and Imhotep. That's where I became a man. I want to say that. I became a man at both of those institutions, and I became an educator. I truly became an educator. Yeah.
I love it.
So, we're talking about the TV and film industry. So we have to talk about that transition.
Right.
Yes.
What got you from being an educator and a good one, a really good one, to moving into the acting realm? What was your spark, first of all, that made you say, this is what I want to do?
And so here's another part of the backstory. I was coaching soccer as well. And another part of the backstory, I used to be in a rap group back at Georgia Southern. I was in a rap group as well. So
oh man, we didn't know that. We should have had him, Joe. We should have had him busting rhymes when we were in the
bars.
Yo, I have to return and bust some rhymes, brother. Yeah, I definitely would do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So I was in a rap group then, and we actually we stayed together up until 2009, 09. Brothers just kind of start, having babies and getting married. So we kind of dispersed a little bit, and I was the hype man of the group. So one of the brothers from the group called me and said, "Hey man, you should be an actor because you got the most, man, you're the most animated dude I know." And I was like, acting? I don't know, man. He said, "Man, there's an audition at Georgia State University. You should go." And I said, "All right, cool." So I went to the audition and I got there. They told me, they said, "Hey, here's your sides. This is what you do." And I said, "Okay, what is this?" She said, "Have you ever acted before?" I said, "No, I haven't." She was like, "Oh God. Okay, so just go read over these sides, and when we call your name, you're gonna come in, and then you're gonna go over the script." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I went in the room. They called me into the room. I read over the sides, and I said, "Man, this is powerful." So I started reading with the director, and something just happened. It was like, "Yo, this is real. No, this is real, man. We're living a true moment right now." So we had a very, very vulnerable, true moment. I had that with her, and the department chair, she said, "Very nice." And then it was another director said, "Hey, can you read my script?" I said, "Yeah." So I read it with her. Same thing. I said, "Man, this is powerful." And another director said, "Hey, can you read mine too?"
No
She
way.
said, "But can you?"
Wow.
Yo, she said, "Can you do it with a Jamaican accent?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I can, because the dude in a rap group, he's Jamaican. So I used to mimic his voice, and so so I did.
Just so you know, because I follow you, Jason, and bro, you be killing that Jamaican accent. You be killing it.
Thanks, my brother. Oh, bless up. Yes. Oh man. So she did that, brother. And I read one, two, three, four, five different scripts. And so the department chair called me that night and she said, "Hey, Jason, you got cast in all 5.
No.
But yo, and I said, "What?" She said, "But I can't let you do that because that wouldn't be fair for you or them because you've never acted before. So you can choose 2." So man, I chose the first 2 that I did, man. I chose a piece called Our Liberated Justice, and that was by Dr. Asantewa Suni Ali. It was about her parents who used to be Black Panthers, and they started the liberation, the New African, they started the Coalition of New Africans. Baba Bilal Ali and Mama Fulani Ali. And so it was about their story. And so I did that one, and I also did the one where I played a Muslim terrorist. And it was just me by myself on stage, and I was atoning to God for the sins that I had committed.
Wow.
So those are the first 2 pieces that I ever did. And I tell people now that acting called me because I fell in love. After that moment, I fell in love, man. I fell in love.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I shouldn't say kind of, it's beautiful when you watch what the creator does and allows him to make you move, right?
Yes.
Like you think about just what you chose, that story right there. You think about how that lined up, right? Even to the point of you being able to kill a Jamaican accent. For that all to line up like that for somebody who had no acting background, but then yet at the same time, you were able to hit that on button that said, this is what I need to be doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's so often, there's a lesson there, is that so often we do work in our lives, right? We do work, like I'll be the first to admit, as a VP of sales, I hope nobody that works, that hires me or has hired me, listens right now. I will tell you, this is not the work that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm good at it, but it's not, So so often we do that, right? When we're doing work that, isn't. Joe's another great example of that, right, Joe?
I definitely have a story, and Jason, to your point, man, and I just want to emphasize what Marty said, man. It sounds like you really serve your community. You really were there for your community. Bro, I know Romar Academy. I know Imhotep Academy. And first of all, education, we all know you ain't getting highly paid there. First of all.
Right.
Nobody goes into education for the money. So, man,
Yes.
your path, man, was truly divinely guided, man. And you really served your community. And you just
Mm.
let God order your steps. You know, it's like, hey, go show up for this thing at Georgia State. You was like, all right, cool. Like, you weren't chasing it, you know? You were just following where God was ordering your steps, and you
Yep.
did that. Now, but to Marty's point, what I want to hear about is the
Yes.
hard side. Because you've told the beautiful side that everybody gets to see. But just like Marty
Yes.
said, my own path, you know, I had to make a decision at one point. Left corporate America, went into education. Lost so much, lost so much. So
Yes.
there's a challenging side to that God has
Mm.
blessed me to be able to walk that path, but it came with its own challenges. Talk to us a
Yes.
little bit about that difficult side. What were those challenges? Because nobody makes it overnight. As
Right.
great as your story is, nobody's making it overnight. You're doing amazing things, but what were some of the challenges you faced that you had to
Mm.
stay strong and navigate through that our young brothers and sisters can hear and be like, yeah, I'm dealing with that right now.
Wow. That's, ooh, Joe. I will share this before. It's like a caveat, right? So while I was at Imhotep, they were supporting me. They were supporting me, like literally, like Mr. Lowder. You know what? If you need a day off, this was later on. This was later on in my career after I had, kind of. So essentially, I was taking classes wherever I can get classes, acting classes. I was in everybody's play. I
Hmm.
was in everybody's short film. I was in everybody. At the same time, I'm still teaching. I'm still teaching at Imhotep, but I'm still studying. I'm still learning I'm still creating characters, still studying, and so that was a beautiful blessing, right? That whole time I'm doing that. And so in 2016, Miss Rosenberg, I love her to this day. She said, Mr. Lowder, at the end of the school year, she said, Mr. Lowder, we made a decision. We can't renew your contract for next year
Okay.
because you missed. She said, I missed about 70 days of school, man, because I was for acting, right? And she said, that's a lot of days. And she said, we see that we want you to fly because now you have another passion that you
Yes.
found. You found this new passion. So we encourage you to go after it. As beautiful as that sounded, I said, well, can I come in at least twice? I can come in twice. I can come in twice. I can come two
You need a
times a week.
paycheck.
Right, I need a paycheck. So
Right.
she said, no, we want you to fly. Man, I cried later on that evening, and then I called my cousin the next day. I said, hey man, I'm out of work. He said, bro, go do DoorDash and Uber Eats and Postmates. Man, I signed up the next day. I said, I'm signed. I got on DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates. I'm doing that every day, working, hustling. And I said, you know what? One night I said, God, you know what? Speaking to the universe and the creator, I said, I want all of my income to come from acting.
There you go.
That's
You
my
go.
next. And so the next thing I know, someone said, hey man, you can be a patient, a standardized patient at Emory University. They pay actors to pretend like they're sick to help train the doctors who are in training. I said, yo, so I end up doing that. And somebody else said, hey, you know what?
Who
I
knew?
think you'll be really good for dinner theater. And I said, yo, dinner
Oh,
theater?
yeah.
Yeah, I'll
I
do
can
that.
see that.
So
I can see that.
so I started doing dinner theater. And then someone reached out to me and said, hey man, you used to tell stories. You were a storyteller. Can you come and tell stories at this library? So I started doing storytelling at libraries as my alter ego, Babatunde. And so I'm doing storytelling. I'm doing standardized patient. And my agent called me one day and she said, hey, promise Joe, I have the photo. I took a screenshot of my account. I had $6 in my account. $6.
Been there.
And I knew rent was due the next week. I said, I got $6. So I said, okay, all right, so cool. I don't have to eat. I'm good. I don't have to eat today. I'm gonna make whatever I got. My agent called and said, hey, do you want to do voiceovers? I said, yeah, why not? I never done that before. She said, okay, go to your closet, record this voiceover on your phone, and then send it to me. I did that. 2 weeks later, she said, Jason, you just got hired to be the voice of Adidas.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
Yeah, brother. I booked a national voiceover commercial for Adidas, man, and that was the next 2017, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, but
So,
you took that leap, man.
Yeah.
You put that in the universe and said, and I'm with you, man, because I've had to do that, and it's not an easy leap. You
It's
look
not.
at that bank account and you look at those bills, man, but
Yeah.
that faith, it just guides you. It
Mm.
guides you. You
Yep.
can't question the faith. You got to just go with it, man. And you still gonna stumble and fall sometimes. But you put in the universe, I want all my income to come from acting. I love it, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
That's
man.
amazing, man. And that contract with Adidas, I'm sure, lighten the load on that bank account, right? So that you were able, you didn't have to have that worry no more.
Amen.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
beautiful. So
Yes.
talk about the next steps thereafter. That we know that you've done some pretty significant work as well. So what else?
Man, so I think honestly, from there, I was still but something said you still need to keep working, still keep working. So man, I stayed in class. I continued to say, let me reach out to these other. Now I was in a position now to say, hey, I want to reach out to some of the people who I did free work for. All these directors who I was in their stuff for free. They fed me. I said, as long as you can feed me, I'm good. I'll do it. I reached out to them and said, hey man, I want to do some project. I have an idea for a project. And all of them said yes. So I was able to start a project called Sour Milk. And it was about post-traumatic slave syndrome. And so I wanted to do several short films about how we deal with post-traumatic slave syndrome. And we reached out to, we read the book by Dr. Joy DeGruy, and man, we shot 3 amazing short films about, about that. And, you know what I'm saying? And then the money ran out. So, cause I was like, it was my vision. So I got to stand behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta put my money where my mouth is. But I learned from that experience that, hey, you know what? You can always call on your tribe, on your community.
Okay.
So that's where so now I'm at a point now to where I'm going to come back to Sour Milk. And this time I'm going to reach out to my community, to my village, and say, hey, you know what? I need help. I need some financial support, or I need support in whatever capacity, so I can complete this anthology, because it's an anthology that needs to be. I want it. I want the world to see it.
Wow.
You need to make sure that you are fully communicating that with your brothers at Black Man Lab, so that we can help bring that through fruition, man. Because that sounds like something we need as well. And just real quick, there's always some underlying themes in everything that we talk about, no matter the topic. And what you spoke to here tonight is that need to consistently practice and get good at your craft, no matter what it is. And if you continue to work at it, and that's where your passion is, success finds you, right? Because I think that's the Creator's divine, way is to make sure that if you have what is supposed to be for you, you are doing the work for what's supposed to be for you. It's going to work out, right? It's going to work out. So, so let's talk about you in film.
Yes.
What got you? Where was your breakthrough there?
Man, so I was blessed. Like I said, once again, blessed to do some work, some, I guess, independent film work. And one of the casting directors for a TV show called Swamp Murders, she reached out to my agent and said, hey, we would love Jason for this role. We would love to bring him in for this role. So I auditioned for the role, It was a tough role, man. It was a tough role because the character, it was based on a true story. The character was he was a rapist, man. He raped this young girl, man. And so I kind of, I contemplated with it, and I said, you know what? I'm an actor, man. I want to serve this story. And so I auditioned for the role, and I did what I had to do, right? And so I got cast in that piece, Swamp Murders, did the thing, an amazing experience, powerful experience, blessed. That same casting director, 2 years later, she was casting a Bollywood movie. She said, hey, reached out to my agent and said, hey, Jason, I want him to audition for this Bollywood movie. So I auditioned for the role. It was for a sales clerk of a grocery store. I auditioned for that role, and they said, my agent called me about a week later. She said, hey, they don't want you for that sales clerk role. They want you to play the lead antagonist in the entire film. And I said, whoa. Yeah. I mean, yes. Yes. And
you're like, check. Yeah.
Yes.
Check mark. I'll do that.
Yes. So we did that, man. And Marty, Joe, they shot part of the film in Atlanta, and that was a part of the agreement. So we shot that part. At the end of the shooting, they said, hey, man, we might need you in Las Vegas for another scene. I said, okay, that's fine. Cool. After we shot in Vegas, they said, hey, we might need you to come to India because we have a few more scenes we want to shoot in India.
Wow.
What? So I go to India, man, and do the rest of the movie, man. And I had an amazing time. I mean, it was life-changing. That was my life-changing moment in film right there. I was in a Bollywood movie, one of the, yeah, man.
Yes. One of the things I love about your journey also, Jason, is, man, you're so open to it. Here's one thing I don't hear you saying. Yeah, I had to turn that down. Or I said no. Like, you grind, man. You hustle. Yeah. And it just opens up so many other opportunities for you. When Marty got on tonight at the last minute, and he was like, man, sorry about that. I was grinding and hustling. And it's just the circles that I'm in with you brothers and Black Man Lab and Next Level, man, everybody's hustling. Everybody's saying yes. Because it's like, we want to help, we want to further ourselves, and that just opens up so many more things for us, man. It's so empowering to hear what those yeses meant. So much hard work, but a lot of experience and opportunities as well.
Yes, Joe. That's it, man. I'm a believer. I'm a believer in that's one of the rules in improv. Say yes, and you say yes and. It's called the yes and. Yes and.
Okay.
Right. Yes. And
now, I don't have to try that around the house with my wife, do I? I don't have to do that. That can just get difficult. That can just get difficult.
Well, you know what, Joe? She might get tired of the and after a while, you over and her, and what? And what else?
Yes.
And then eventually she's going to be like, okay, go away.
Yeah.
So Jason, hey, man,
yes,
I had a quick question. Now, you've worked in Hollywood, you worked now in Bollywood as well. What were there differences there? Did you see differences in working in those two?
Yeah, man. And I will say this. I've heard stories about people changing the script. Of course, they change the script. Script could change at any time on any production, on any set. Mm-hmm. But with this Bollywood film, they were writing the script as we were filming it.
Oh, wow.
So they were
so consequently, you went to Vegas, to India, wherever else. I get you.
More specifically in India. When we got in India, they were writing the script because they said, hey, man, you did such an amazing job in your role. We want to continue to. We want to see you more. And so that's why they had to write it as they were filming in India. So that was really different. I was like, okay, all right. So he said, "Oh, here's the lines." I had to get them, lock them in. All right, action,
Nice.
and go and work. But the theater, my training had prepared me for that. My training, because I knew who my character was. Them giving me lines, new lines, I'm already in character. So that's just a matter of me, okay, locking it in and then saying it how I want to say it.
Gotcha. That's that and, right? That's the yes and.
That's that yes and.
One of the questions that I had is, as you develop your career, and Marty and I are in space with some brothers like yourself that are doing some amazing things. We the panel on Monday, and then Will Packer, Rob Hardy, Dave Shannon, brothers, and I know there comes a point where you're like, all right, I've done all this, so now I'm going to be a little bit more selective, because I specifically want to represent this. And we've heard of those actors that that say this is the only kind of thing I'm going to do. Like, where's your stance on that? Because it sounds like you've done a lot of constructive and community-oriented kind of theater and film anyway. But are you at a point yet where you're like, hey, I'm only going to do this? Did you start at that point, or has Yes and just helped you migrate to a space where you can kind of select accordingly?
You know what? That's a beautiful question, Joe, because I did a movie called Prodigal, and I played a very he was violent, but he was violent for a reason, and the reason, and so when I read the character, I saw that he had post-traumatic post PTSD. He was suffering from PTSD.
Right.
So there was a reason why he would be triggered and just go off on this rant, this raging fury, right? And so I said, that makes sense. So I said, okay, you know what? If the yes and helped me, because it says, hey, if I choose to play a role, it has to serve the story. So if I'm playing a Jamaican drug lord, it has to serve the story, and it has to be purposeful. Like, I'm not just gonna do a role that's just like, oh man, hey, just go be, hey, can you just do this and don't worry about it. No, yeah, it has to serve the story, and so that's my biggest thing. Is it serving the story? If it is, then yes, I will embody that character, and I will give you, and I will live as truthfully as possible, man, in this role.
Man, that's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So talk about how'd you get to Black Lightning?
Once again, it's the universe, man. Universe. So I auditioned. My agent sent me. They sent me the breakdown for this role. It was for Joey Toledo, and so I prepared for it. I read it, did my thing, put it on tape. Because a lot of 95% of our auditions as actors now, they're self-tapes. So we record the auditions and send them to the casting. We very rarely go and get to go in front of the casting director now. Those days are almost gone. So I prepared it, sent it to the casting director, and my agent calls me and says, hey, you didn't get Joey Toledo, but they want to offer you this role for this character named Two Bits. And he's actually very, very integral, because he is the eyes and ears for Black Lightning. And I was like, oh, wow. She said, he's the eyes and ears on the street. So he's a street guy, but he's getting his intel and then bringing it to Black Lightning to help. So I said, wow, that's yes, oh man. So that's how Two Bits kind of came. I auditioned for one role, didn't get that, but I got Two Bits. So that's where the role for Black Lightning kind of came from, man.
That's great stuff. And I just as we started talking about, I remembered now that you were on the panel way back when we had it. And you and Bill Duke were on the panel.
Yep, I remember that.
Was that an experience for you to be in that space like that?
My God. So just knowing Bill Duke's filmography and knowing his his wealth, his, I guess, his breadth of work, I was honored, man. And I told him, I said, Mr. Duke, man, I'm honored, man. He said, listen, I heard about you. I said, oh my God, what? Hold on, brother. So, but yeah, man, he was a true elder and a true mentor. Although we didn't get a chance to work together, I watched him work. Him work, man. And he's a true craftsman, man. Yeah. So I learned so much, man. That was a blessing and honor. And then to be a part of a TV show that was so political, and it was on time, man. Shout out to Salim Akil and Mara Brock Akil, the creators. Man, their vision, man, is beautiful, man. They've been doing this for a while. But to use a comic book as a platform for social awareness. When I found out that green light was a drug that the government had put into the community to experiment on black people, I said, whoa, that sounds a little bit like another drug that we know, and a government that we know that did the same thing. Yes. Okay. I see what you're doing, brother. I see what you're doing. Oh man. Yeah.
I love what they're doing, and even the new season that just kicked off, man. You know, where he has this internal dilemma where I want to help the police, but I also know that, you know, there's some bad ones out there. So he has this internal struggle, man, and he's handling his business in a lot of ways that we as a community are like, yeah, hell yeah. But he's struggling with that just like the rest of us though. Because we want to love them. We see our brothers and sisters that are out there in uniform as well, but we're like, but it's still a problem. It's still a problem. And I love how y'all are attacking real topics, man. And you have been, like you said, for a minute now, undercover of something else. But I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. That was powerful when we had all y'all. That was a crazy panel that we had.
That was a crazy panel.
You know what was funny? I give y'all a quick story about that day. Was that Brother Bill Duke came in, and of course, all those of us that know how powerful and how, you know, his history and how great he is. And when he came in, he just came in and went right to the panel and sat there with that Bill Duke look. You know what I mean? Kind of like, what's this about? You know? And so as we started the session, you could tell like he had a look of kind of confusion, and he wound up calling me over to him after a while. And, you know, I wish I had that on camera, but I came over, I was like, yes, sir. You know, like what's going on? And he was right in the middle of the panel, and he whispered in my ear, he says, I get it now. I see what you all are doing. I got it, and I'll run with it. And I was like,
wow.
Nice.
Wow. Man.
He did. He did. That was powerful. Because he gave kids his number, and all y'all did, of course. Y'all were all great.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. I was like, man, if he gets it, we all should get it. You know?
Yes.
We should all be able to get it without having any pretense, you know? So
none. Yeah, man.
One more question for you, and Joe, and from me anyway. Joe, if you got more, go.
Yes, sir.
What were your thoughts on the panel on Monday? What did you get out of that? And what, was there anything that was eye-opening to you? I mean, you've been doing it for a while now, but you might have heard a different perspective. So what did you get out of that?
Wow. Brother Rick Mathis, man, we talked about that intellectual property and owning your intellectual property. That opened up a gateway for me. So now I'm like, I want to have a meeting with my Wooly about representation, about legal representation, because nobody tells us this when we're starting off as actors. They don't tell us, hey man, you might need to get a lawyer, you might need to start your own business, they don't tell us that when we first start out. It's like, hey man, get the craft, train, but they don't say learn the business.
Yeah.
Right.
And that thing sparked something for me. So I was like, oh wow, you know what? Yep, it's time.
Yeah.
So that was the most beautiful thing that I heard, man. Of course, that's a part of the team as well. Like
Sure.
that legal is a part of your team that you build. So that was another piece, the team. We talked about team, building your team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think that's one of the things that, for us especially, sometimes we forget to cover our, what I said it there, cover your ass,
Yes, sir.
lack of a better term is what you got to do.
Yes.
Especially given your craft and given the level of creativity that's there. And Miley is a great person to go to for that. So I'll talk to him tonight, and I'll make sure he touches base with you, Jason. So,
yes, sir. Thank you.
Joe, did you ask something, Joe?
I do. Last thing I want to ask, man, is Jason, you've put so much in the universe and allowed it to be manifested into your life. You've been a blessing to Black Man Lab and to the people that we are in audience with and to our panel when you come and speak on it. So what I want to ask you is I want you to manifest and put more in the universe. Who are some of the dream directors, dream producers, dream people that you want to work with? And let's just publicly say that so that as we move forward, if we have connections, if we know people, we're saying, hey, we got a guy. Who are some of the people that you dream of working with? And put that in the universe because we know it's going to happen.
Ooh. Man, I got chills because the first thought that came to my mind was Spike Lee. I want to work with Spike, man. I'm going to work with Spike, man.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And honestly, watching Chadwick Boseman, what that brother, he changed my life, not only as an actor but as a human being, man. Because just watching his journey. And all the way up until his transition, so I was like, wow. So that meant a lot. So I definitely I wanted to work with him, but it's all good. I know in spirit I will.
Right.
And Mr. Smith, man, Will Smith. I told my grandma before she transitioned, I said, Grandma, I'm gonna be in a movie with Will Smith. I told her that, and she said, okay, baby.
Hey, you know what? Will Smith is always in movies where there's some Jamaican accent folks. So I see that happening, man. I see a Bad Boys in your future, man.
Yes, I love it. I'm there for it. I told my agent, I said, listen, anything Will Smith does, please keep me on the radar. And she's done it, man. She's done it thus far.
That's good
stuff.
We're
gonna pray for that. We're gonna make that come to fruition somehow, brother. I love it though.
Yeah.
How
did you get your agent? What was it? Did you just
once again, the universe. I was in a play at this church. I was actually teaching at Imhotep, and a parent said, hey, Mr. Lowder, we have a play at our church, and one of the actors dropped out, and we know you're an actor. Can you come and do it? And I said, sure, yeah, absolutely. So I do the play, and the director, she works with Tyler Perry. And so she said, hey, after the play, she said, hey, can I ask you a question? Do you have representation? Do you have an agent? I said, no, ma'am. She said, I want to get you an agent. So she got me on a call with one of her people. We had a great conversation, and they said, we normally don't do this, but we want to sign you right now. So they sent over the paperwork, and they signed me, man.
Wow.
And that's how I got, and I've been with that same agent since 2014. That was in 2014. Same agent.
Journey, man. What a journey. What a blessing.
Man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And again, it's just, everything lining up in a divine way for you, brother.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's attributed, I think, to how you moved and how you, again, the laws of reciprocity, right?
Yes.
We give out and we get back, we give out without any expectation and everything comes back to you as it's supposed to. you know. So
I said,
that is beautiful stuff, man. Yeah. So I think that Monday it was interesting because,
mm-hmm.
you know, when you were on before, we had that huge panel, but a lot of actors, right? We had a lot of actors versus this time where we had a lot of people that were behind the scenes. And I hope that actually opened some eyes for our young folks that were there. That, you know, to be in the film industry doesn't mean you always have to be a Jason Lowder, which is a great place to be.
Yes, sir.
But there's also other means of employment with the film industry that sound like, anyway, from the guys that were there, are really satisfying and you know, really meaningful. So we're excited.
And that meant a lot.
Yeah.
That meant a lot. I'm sorry, Marty. That meant a lot to hear. For me to hear another brother saying, hey, brothers, there's so many different avenues in this film industry. An $8 billion industry, there's so many different avenues that you can be a part of it if you want to be a part of it. It's not just in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So many. And some of the larger paydays are a bit behind the camera. So
right. I was wondering about that. You know, when you were sitting there, I was like, I wonder if he's getting raising an eyebrow, you know, as they were talking some of those numbers. You're like, you know.
Really? I said, man, if somebody would have told me this when I started, I said, man, I would have drove vans and still been taking classes.
Sure. That's why I was like, Jason's probably like, I could have been driving. Yeah, man. That's but again, that goes back to, we talked about it on Monday. These are things that we don't know, right? We don't know. Right. We don't know as a community, and unfortunately, you know, other communities just get indoctrinated in it by proxy. We, on the other hand, you know, we have to have places and spaces like the Black Man Lab to share this kind of information, to spark interest, and hopefully push people down a road, or help people go down a road that they might want to go down. You know, so man, look, man, we're almost up against the clock here at 7:30. But what we do, just like we do in the lab too, is we talk about habits, rituals, and disciplines. Those things that you do on a daily basis that keep you moving forward, those things that help you to stay centered and focused on, you know, your ultimate goals. So we're going to ask you that. What are your habits, rituals, and disciplines that you do on a daily basis?
Wow, I love that question, because it's always it always makes me think about what more could I be doing, right? So I definitely, man, every morning wake up, that's my devotion time, meditation. You know what I'm saying? I do at least 10 minutes of meditation. You know what I'm saying? Some days I try to do a little bit more, but at least 10 minutes of meditation right when I arise, when I wake up. So that's important, man, to have those affirmations. And in those meditations, I do sometimes affirmations. I am beautiful. I love myself. I'm great. So those are some of the meditation. Mm-hmm. Some meditations may just be mindfulness, being present. So I do different meditations depending on like what space I'm in when I wake up. Sure. So that's always a blessing. And I had just started, not just, but over the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I need to create a ritual of health. So I feel like I eat pretty well. I do eat pretty well. But I started walking every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just walking around my neighborhood, just walking, you know? And I said, you know what, man, that's important. So that's something I do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I take my walk. I got to take my walk today, so I haven't taken it today. So
you gotta get it in. Gotta get it in.
I gotta get it in. And then as far as habits, man, I read something about acting every day. So either it's an article about another artist, either it's doing research on a grant or some kind of writing, but something dealing with my craft. I read something in that space of my craft every day.
That's awesome.
Love that. And there's a good lesson there, is that, you know, whatever your craft is to do some work on it every day. You know, sometimes we just do work. We just work,
Right.
but we don't work on whatever our craft is, you know. So that's a good lesson there, man. So, man, look, so appreciate you, Joe. Did you have anything that you wanted to add there?
No, I just want to, man, like really, like it's so funny because, you know, Marty, we do this all the time, and I was on a call earlier where I was talking to a couple people, talking about my foundation, what I do, and so forth. And at the end of it, they were like, "You're going to be successful because you're passionate about what you do." And I hear that all the time, and I'm like, okay, appreciate it, you know. But listen to Jason, I get it now.
Yeah.
Dude is so positive, and you're so passionate about it, bro. You're just, that energy is it can't help but to feed into what you're doing, because when you put that positive energy out there, the universe is going to want to deposit it into a positive account. Like the universe don't want to mess with negativity. It's looking for positive accounts to make the positive do things. And man, you are that brother, man. I know so many amazing things are going to continue to happen. I love the yes and mentality. I love the humility, and I appreciate your work ethic, your meditation, your walking, your commitment to your craft, man. Just thank you. There's so many lessons that our young brothers and sisters that can see and listen to this are getting from you, man. And thank you for that. I appreciate your energy so much, brother.
Thank y'all, man. We're reflections. I see that. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Because we're all one. We're all one. And it just hit me like, whoa, we're all one. And so I'm a reflection of Marty, who's a reflection of Joe, we are reflections, man. So I appreciate love y'all, man. I just thank y'all. I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart, man, for everything that you guys are. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And I'm here.
Yep, we we love having you in the space, Jason. We love having your energy, and we can't wait to see the movie that's going to be written and produced by Spike Lee, starring you and Will Smith.
Exactly. There it is, right there, brother.
Hey man, we're just gonna go ahead and put that home run out there, bro. That's what we're gonna do.
Right there.
I'm gonna have to let me figure out how to holler at Spike. I got this, man.
We just need to tell Spike to go ahead and produce the next Bad Boys, and that will take care of everything.
That would.
The Jamaican role, the Will Smith, everything.
Right.
That's it. That's it, my brother. Wow.
Actually, close us out, man.
Right. What we need to do though is bring both of those cats into the Black Man Lab. We need Will Smith and Spike in the Black Man Lab.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to let Jason have the energy to do that. Once he gets his stuff squared away, he's going to tell them, "Hey, I got a place y'all need to be.
Y'all need to be.
Own that for us.
Get your mind right. Right.
Man, well, look, I'm already on it.
my man. Well, look, Jason, just like we close out at the Black Man Lab, we close out here at Lab Results.
Yes, sir.
We do the same thing. We're doing it virtually. So we're going to lock arms together. We can all lock arms and then just repeat after me. I am a link in this chain.
I am a link in this chain.
And it won't break here.
And it won't break here.
I'm a link in this chain.
I'm a link in this chain.
And it won't break here.
And it won't break here.
We are links in this chain.
We are links in this chain.
And we won't break here.
And we won't break here.
Ashe.
Ashe, brother.
Ashe, brother. Jason, thank you again, my man. We'll be in touch. You always welcome in the space anytime. Bring any brothers that you want to the lab, and we will happily have you, man. Happily have you. Molly will probably pull you up on stage no matter what the topic is.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Jason. Best luck to you. Best wishes. Keep up the hard work. Mark, super producer. Thank you, Mark, for everything,
yes,
man.
Sir. Mark.
Behind the scenes, man. Love you. Love you, brothers, man.
Love y'all, man. Talk to you.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Peace and blessings.
Same.
Peace, brother.
smell of